Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you had a good coffee break there, networking. We've got a packed schedule now to take us through till lunch. And to kick things off, supplier partnerships in US biomanufacturing. I'm delighted to welcome Nate Stevens, who is the Colocation product line, new Colocation development lead at Cargill. So Nate, please.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone, and good morning, almost afternoon. Thankfully, lunch is not right after this. Otherwise, I'd feel like I'm keeping you from that. So really, I'm excited to talk to you today about Cargill and how we play a unique role as a supplier partnership in working to scale up, also to facilitate commercialization in the U.S. biomanufacturing. So before I go into that, my name is Nate Stevens. I lead up Cargill's Colocation business development. I work with Josh Witt, who leads our Colocation business overall in North America. And together we have the privilege of working with our 8 current Colocation partners across the U.S., as well as doing work to evaluate future partnerships to share our home at our Cargill biorefineries. Before I dive deeper into Colocation's biomanufacturing and the bioeconomy, let's talk a little bit more about Cargill. On a personal note, I've been at Cargill for almost 15 years now, and I would say the bioeconomy has changed significantly during that time. It energizes me every day to have the opportunity to make positive impact in both the food and industrial industries, and being able to be introduced to people who are trying to change the world in a way that drives sustainability in a bioeconomy has just been a very awesome privilege for me, and I look forward to continuing to do that. At Cargill, everything begins with our purpose to nourish the world in a safe, responsible, and sustainable way. With over 160,000 employees across 70 countries, we form a global network where we bring people together with ideas and resources to impact the lives of people across the world. We have over 160, actually, years old now of experience with new technologies and insights, and serve as a trusted food partner, agricultural, finance, and industrial customers across the world. So let's talk a little bit about Cargill and the bioeconomy now. The bioeconomy is certainly not new. People have relied on biological resources since the beginning of time. We've seen the evolution of new technologies come to market, the Industrial Revolution from the fermentation of the 19th century, combined with 20th century technologies, including high-yield crop technologies, boosting feedstock availability alongside the ability to sequence and edit microorganisms that have unlocked the ability to scale bioprocesses and create a more sustainable future. So in the slide here, you'll kind of see from a Cargill and the bioeconomy side, these are different examples of how we see the bioeconomy playing a positive impact in our lives today. And I have to give credit where credit is due. This is actually from our bioindustrials partners in Cargill Bioindustrial. And this is, to me, a great illustration on all the different areas where we can see Cargill potentially having an impact in the bioeconomy today. So within that, there are various modes of supply or models of supply and how we can drive that bioeconomy in the U.S. biomanufacturing. And one key model is co-location. Cargill has been enabling the U.S. biomanufacturing industry for over the last 40 years. It is our first co-location was established a little over 200 miles away in Eddyville, Iowa, a little bit over 40 years ago. In that time, we've built up our expertise and expanded to 8 different co-location partners across the U.S. And those opportunities, the time, the labor, the investment, the people, the buildings of the facility all had one critical thing in common. They all started with a simple conversation, a type of conversation that any one of us could be having today at this conference. And truly, it begins with understanding the goals and the aspirations of our potential partners. And really, that's what's key to success, is how do we both try to benefit in order to drive the bioeconomy. And so in Cargill, in this relationship model, you can see our various inputs coming through, the services we offer to our partners, and how it can be a symbiotic relationship overall. So what are some examples of different models of supply? I think our first really is kind of what we consider a traditional feedstock contractual agreement, where, hey, you're shipping via truck or rail down anywhere in a logistics region. The second would be, hey, a down the road model. Maybe it makes sense to find something a little bit closer to your supplier. But then there's also the co-location model, which is third. And with that, there has to be enough synergies in place to say, hey, we have an over-the-fence partner where we're going to basically have you on our land and connect via pipe and share in utilities. And what makes a good fit, it really depends on a little bit of timing, a little bit of shared goals and aspirations and strategy overall. And so within that, I want to make sure that I would be remiss to say there's no real one-size-fits-all model of co-location. Also, that not every company or every scenario is a good fit for co-location given numerous circumstances. And so you think about scale being one of those examples, and I'll get to this in a minute and share a little bit about our Blair facility, but they go through 350 bushels of corn a day, 350,000 bushels of corn a day, excuse me. And within that, in our fermenters, we have 6 of them on site for our ethanol business, and they make 1.6 million gallons of ethanol each a day. And so you're talking about how you properly utilize and say it's a mutually beneficial relationship from a co-location model. Scale is important. That's not the only thing that's important, but it's one of many things that we consider, right? So every one of our existing co-location relationships has 1 or 2 things that make them unique. And, everything from the type of feedstock they need to the wastewater streams to offtake agreements. And we truly try not to limit or prescribe a one-size-fits-all approach. But the one thing is paramount over everything else is that when companies are ready to talk about scale, that conversation that I talked about earlier is really important to be candid and really transparent in terms of what goals and aspirations these companies have together, and how do we see which model that I shared might be the best fit. So just taking a few minutes to highlight Blair. This is a shining star example of the bioeconomy and the biorefineries that we have today. This has been, we actually just celebrated our 30-year anniversary at Blair. It was very fortunate to be at that event, and it was really cool to see the community impact that the Blair campus has had. And at the time, when it was established in 1995, we did a $200 million investment, which today would be the equivalent of well over $1.5 billion. And so within that, as I mentioned, we grind over 350,000 bushels of corn a day. It's averages over 500 trucks a day going in and out of that facility. And if you think about a football field being 1 acre, we process roughly 2,300 football fields a day of corn at Blair alone, which in another way, it was shared at the 30-year anniversary, it's the equivalent to the size of the state of Rhode Island of corn a day that just is at this one facility, which I thought was really kind of cool. So over time, there was 9 different expansions. We have 12 different products produced today. And more importantly, relative to this conversation is we also have 4 of our co-locations that I've talked about actually located at Blair, NatureWorks, Corbion, Avonic, and Novonesis. Each have chosen to locate with us. They built their facilities on Cargill campus, where we directly pipe renewable feedstock to them and utilities like steam, water, wastewater, and other services. I mean, the co-location relationship is more like a marriage than anything else. We look at long-term agreements, and really we look at how we develop these solutions to scale. And we are very fortunate to work along the side these companies and grow them to deliver the impact for a more sustainable future. And so I'm really passionate about the idea of, or the opportunity that we have to lead up our co-location development and try to find more partners like that we've established today. So, one I want to highlight is that we actually are not just looking in the past, but also how we're developing these co-locations even today. And one of our newest partnerships is just over the border at Core. That's a joint venture between Cargill and Helm, and it brings bio-based butanediol, or BDO, to the market. We're really excited about this because it's our new co-location, and it has positive impact for the bioeconomy. The really cool part of this is it really goes through the value chain and gets to the end customer and develops a product of bio-based spandex and athleisure wear. And so it replaces those non-bio-based materials that we've seen in the past. And really cool thing about this is it's going to actually take out 70% and have a 70% lower carbon footprint than traditional fossil-based solutions. So really, just for this and throughout the rest of my speech here, I just want to talk about the way that we believe that Cargill's highlighted co-locations being a big driver in that partnership, and more importantly, how we look to continue to play a role in enabling the bioeconomy in the future. I think really for us, it's about enabling scale takes expertise. It takes a strong partners with access to a lot of industry knowledge and a proven track record for success. Over the last 40 years, Cargill has shown that it can be the partner of choice, and we look forward to continuing to support the U.S. biomanufacturing industry and the bioeconomy into the future. And finally, we are open to growth and potential new co-location partners. So feel free to reach out to myself, either here today, my partner Josh too. He is unfortunately not here, but you can reach out to either one of us via LinkedIn or the app, and we are excited to talk about the potentially growing the bioeconomy. So thank you.